The Aussie Bro Squad is a boy band from Australia which consists of 4 brothers, Jackson, Tyler, Braden and Rawson. You'll mainly see them on TikTok doing all kinds of different high energy dancing, having frequent live streams and doing wild skits. They post all kinds of things on all different social media platforms. It isn't just on TikTok they post stuff. They have been posting stuff like this for years now, since December 2022. They started when they were relatively young and are now all pretty much adults. I remember seeing them on TikTok like 2 years ago dancing out on the streets and in a Macca's. They pull in numbers and views for sure, and from the looks of it, they have amassed quite the following. They seem to be wildly consistent with their posts and live streams too, posting and going live quite often. Extremely dedicated to what they do. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I talking about this group of TikTok dancers? This is so nothing. There are so many users and groups of people who do dancing, skits and live streams. I mean, that's what TikTok is mostly known for, right? Well, many people have noticed quite a lot of things over the years which have raised many questions and different concerns regarding these boys. From first glance, they seem to be a group of close brothers having fun, consistently making different dance videos and content. They're all having a good time. However, it's widely believed that the Aussie Bro Squad rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than this. There is a lot to this Aussie Bro Squad situation and so much to get into. To get into everything first, we need to know what the situation is actually about. Why and how does this go deeper than a group of brothers doing dances online? If this is your first time hearing about this boy group before, you are definitely wondering what is up. Did these boys do something wrong? Are they bad people? Have they been involved with some drama? Actually, quite the opposite. People are worried about these boys. These concerns over the Aussie Bro Squad come from the person who is behind the camera of these TikTok dances.
Cadence needs more Taylor Swift dancers. Erica, mum looks about 30 when I met her. Wow, that's very sweet. Thank you, Erica. We just became best friends. Brooklyn is here. Mia, come to Townsville. Jackson, you have got the list here. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody. The requests, you guys gave suggestions that you would like for the name of our newest 5th member. Here, the suggestions that you all had were roses. Thank you, Amber. If you would like to know where we go and when, click follow and you can come along with us. And
Beverly McKellar is the mother of these 4 boys and seems to be the one that controls everything, the puppet master of the Aussie Bro Squad. The accusations and allegations are pretty big. People believe that Bev is controlling not only the Aussie Bro Squad side of things, but believe she is controlling everything they have going on in their life. I mean, to the point they're not allowed to have any friends or get a job or go to uni. It gets that bad. Like I said, it's a lot to get into, so let's start with the online management side of things. We will get into the crazier, more full-on stuff in a bit. Beverly is always the one behind the camera during these videos. She is always the one behind the camera and talking during live streams, answering questions for the brothers.
Diana, she shared the boys' post as well of the espresso dance by Sabrina Carpenter, I should say. 43 million followers, absolutely incredible that she liked it and shared it for the boys. We had Pink International.
She is the one that seems to run all of their socials and not just talking about Aussie Bro Squad accounts. With the way captions are similarly written, posts are made, it really looks like Beverly even has control over their personal social media accounts. It's sort of obvious that they are owned by Bev. Why can't these now grown adults run their own social media accounts which can talk and engage with fans, show their true self and speak their own mind? Why does Beverly have to pretend to be her sons? It's so inauthentic and honestly just weird behavior. It appears she is behind everything online. On the Aussie Bro Squad Instagram, her name is in the name section, and weirdly, she has photoshopped her face right in front of the boys in the profile picture. It looks really strange and honestly kinda creepy. Not only does she appear to run all of the official accounts, but Bev as well is believed to be the person behind most of their fan pages you will see in the comment sections of their videos. I know dance groups can have fan pages and all that. Some Aussie Bro Squad fan pages seem to be actually legit as well. But for a group which don't seem to be extraordinarily big and simply just make TikTok dance videos, they seem to have a lot of fan pages. I think it's pretty obvious most of these fan pages aren't authentic at all and are run by Beverly, who posts frequently and comments heavily. They all have the same reposts and similar bios. When things are written, they use nearly identical phrasing and emojis, which is a big sign to all these being Bev. A lot of these accounts are blank with only reposts, simply made for commenting on posts and live streams. Some do actually make posts, random posts which will show love for the Aussie Bro Squad. There are constantly new fake fan pages popping up. Some have been made pretending to be paparazzi spotting the boys out in public. Then there are some posts on these accounts which are just so weird. Tyler and Jackson out and about, getting cheeky and showing some skin. We are ready to play, with the caption playtime with these emojis and all these brothers shirtless. The bros and I had a cheeky photo shoot today. Who thinks we look hella saucy? OMG, silly Jackson always forgets the words to songs. Who thinks we should spank him? Making these kinds of posts and saying these things about your sons is so strange to me. And according to the bio, they were all really young too, youngest being 15 at the time, and she was making thirst trap posts of them. I just find that too weird. Bev as well has apparently gone live on one of these fake fan pages using a bunch of filters and pretending to be a fan. With the fake accounts, fake paparazzi, and just knowing how she acts, it really wouldn't surprise me if this is true. Just wild. Beverly also creates fake fans using AI. Surely it must be exhausting for Bev to do all of this, running all of these accounts, pretending to be not only her sons online, but a good variety of different fan accounts over around the 3 years they've been doing this. The concerning part of all of this is that it isn't just online that Beverly seems to be controlling and very involved over these boys. There is a lot of proof and evidence that this goes all the way to real life. To put it simply, the allegations are that Beverly has major control issues over these boys, and is the one who makes all of the decisions for the Aussie Bro Squad. And it's not good that they are having decisions made for them, since most of what her sons do looks to be worrying and is pretty unhealthy behavior. It's kind of hard to figure out where to actually start with the concerns. The whole lot seems to be a complete mess. But let's just start with the infamous Aussie Bro Squad live streams. So the Aussie Bro Squad do lots of questionable content. Bev and her sons will go out in all sorts of public spaces and film themselves doing choreographed dances. They go to other people's events and film themselves dancing right in the middle of the crowd for some reason. There's just lots of strange videos. But the content they do that has probably raised the most eyebrows are their TikTok live streams. The Aussie Bro Squad used to go live pretty much every single day. They would go live incredibly early in the morning as well, some claiming as early as 4 a.m, and would continue to go live for the rest of the day, like 6 or 7 other times.
Aussie Bro Squad, this morning when I woke up, they were live dancing. Tonight, I'm going to bed, they're still live dancing. How do they do this?
And in all of these live streams, they would just dance in front of the camera for hours with Beverly yelling and answering questions. Like, that just seems like such an unhealthy amount of times to go live, and just way too early in the day too. Are they really wanting to do all of this work and get up this early to do TikTok dances every day? You could love dancing, but surely this would get exhausting after a while, and you wouldn't want to do this. TikTok in Australia doesn't pay their creators, so all of this work they're doing, all this choreographed dances they do, they aren't even getting paid anything for it, which to me is absurd. A lot of what they do in these live streams are incredibly rehearsed and robotic. The lives seem scripted, always having really odd conversations with limited topics, and the boys are always constantly switching and moving around. I'm watching the Easter Sunday live and yikes. I'm just doom scrolling on TikTok and the Aussie Bro Squad's live came up, so I decided to watch until the end, and one of the commenters asked if they were all brothers. They then launched into a hyper-rehearsed script introducing themselves, and it was unnerving how robotic it was. Like, I felt like Bev was to the side, holding them at gunpoint or something. That's how weird it was. It's the first time I've seen them do that intro, and it just gave off such weird vibes. Even when Beverly isn't in the room or filming during the lives, she will for sure be in the comments, commenting with both her own account and the many fake fan page accounts. Many people have noticed patterns with these constant comments from Bev and have come to theorize that these comments on these certain accounts serve as a cue to either change positions, change conversation topics, or even end the live stream. These live streams just have so much questionable behavior. From the absurd different outfits they wear, which has relatively recently been happening, the questionable food they eat on their live streams, which many people are pretty concerned about. People often agree that their food intake for the amount of exercise and dancing they do is quite alarming. Beverly constantly yelling, answering questions, speaking for them, and seemingly controlling live streams and conversations through comments. And just how programmed everything seems to be in the everyday live streams they would do. It's all so bizarre. Obviously, what we see online often doesn't translate to what actually happens in real life. People and how they act online can definitely be a whole different experience and reality. However, what's troubling is that this doesn't seem to be the case at all. A lot of people who have met the Aussie Bro Squad and Beverly have shared their experiences online, and the interactions always seem to be the same thing. The interactions are supposedly strange, concerning, robotic, and Bev is always there speaking for them. On Reddit, someone who met them made a post detailing their encounter with the title, "I met Aussie Bro Squad and it was weird AF." As someone that met the boys, Bev and their father a few months ago, I can confirm they are just as odd in real life. These boys are so rehearsed and robotic in real life, it's honestly very concerning. Something was very, very off. I was speaking with them about the event we were at, and they all just spoke in unison and just stared at me, nodding with these big, empty grins. They all seemed dead behind the eyes. Jackson was almost the speaker of the group. The others just stood there, nodding and smiling, agreeing with everything he would say. I literally felt like I was talking to a preschool teacher, You know when a kid does something subpar and the teachers all just praise them for it? That's how they all act when the other is talking. Bev was truly terrifying. She did not leave the boys' side the entire time we were speaking. I honestly wanted to ask them if they were okay, but Bev was being a helicopter parent and literally wouldn't leave their side, and at times would just answer the questions for them. And they just randomly broke out into dance after we stopped speaking. And there was no music playing. They literally had a choreographed dance performed to no music. It was so bizarre. Someone needs to save these kids. They are coached to within an inch of their lives. That's why it all seems so fake. It literally is. You know who gets coached heavily like that? Victims of abusers and narcissists, and young artist performers with abusive, narcissistic handlers. Yep, my mother's a narcissist, and honestly I knew something wasn't right, but didn't think much about it until I started therapy because I was depressed. You can imagine how everything made sense once the term narcissist was used. Man oh man, I was manipulated and blindsided. It's not just one or two people who have had incidents. I mean, there's a lot of people online who have very detailed experiences with these men and Beverly. Saw a post from today about someone's experience with meeting them, and I can confirm my experience was weird AF as well. I saw that post and had to post my experience because mine was around the same. I met them around June last year in the city after that Mr. Beast event, as they were wearing those yellow and green jackets, and they had a big group of people around them. I noticed them and told them my friend about them and their situation, which even back then I had alarm bells. My friend convinced me to go over and speak to them. The only one that actually spoke to me and seemed somewhat genuine was Tyler. The rest of them just nodded and agreed and didn't say anything. They all just seemed so robotic, and from what I got, they seemed like they didn't want to be there, and their smiles were fake as well, definitely hiding behind a mask. Dad wasn't there, but Bev was, and oh boy, she was so fake and over the top. She was calling me babe from what I remember, and I was like, girl, what? Just from that very short interaction, she reminded me instantly of someone I know who's very much attention seeking. I ended up in a photo with them, which Mama Bev made us pose and directed how the boys should be standing, and then which ended up on their Instagram story alongside all the other photos with fans from that day. I thought it's just low-key weird, posting without consent. Anyway, I walked away being like, what the actual was that? Those poor boys, I'm so concerned for all of them. Just being forced to do all these dances and whatever they're doing nowadays to make probably little to no money as well. And then also getting horrible like to view ratios both on Insta and TikTok. After 3 years, when you would just give up, they aren't gaining anything from it. I could go on and on with these shared posts and the different weird encounters. A user on Reddit also shared their experiences with what they were like. However, this user had actually supposedly gone to school with them. I go to their school. They're all very book smart, but they are hopeless when it comes to the real world. They didn't even know what Starbucks was. One of them is school captain. Very nice, but still has no social skills. He never comes to school, maybe twice a week, and stays home to do TikTok lives. I'm in a few of his classes, and I believe a lot of the teachers have some sort of arrangement for him to do work without attending class. He has no friends. He talks to some people at school during classes, but disappears during recess and lunch. His brother is his only friend, and he's always studying. The twins graduated last year, and I'm not even sure they're at a university or not. All I know is that they say they want to work at their parents' motorbike store. I think the boys want to do the Aussie Bro Squad thing to a certain extent, but I think it's extremely weird how they take days off school for it. They are also really secretive and reluctant about anything to do with Aussie Bro Squad. Every question they get asked about it, they say they're not allowed to talk about it. Someone once asked them for an autograph at school, and they said their mum won't let them. So Beverly doesn't even let them talk about their TikTok group at school, and doesn't allow autographs. Genuinely, why is everything so controlled by her? Jackson, the youngest of the group, was pulled out of his last 2 years in secondary school this year. I question, was it his choice to drop out and compromise his education to pursue this Aussie Bro Squad life? Or was it Beverly's? Obviously, I don't know the full story and answers to everything here, but if we look at it all and remember how Beverly is always the one orchestrating everything for them, talking and answering for them, it really leads me to believe it was not Jackson's choice to not complete his final school year. Someone who also went to school with the boys did an AMA, answering different questions about the boys and actually got into the details of this. Has she always had coercive control over them, or has the control tightened? They don't seem to have any control over their life anymore and haven't emotionally matured like others their age. Curious as to whether you think they have regressed since school. While I don't know too much about their personal lives, I can say that they all had their own hobbies that they aspired to do. All 4 boys had straight A's and would be doing advanced English and math. Rawson and Braden are really big into art and drawing and even have their own separate TikTok and YouTube accounts for their art. It sounded very odd that they wanted to do Aussie Bro Squad full time after school, seeming they had so much potential to go to university and get proper careers. My brother, who was in the same year as Jackson, told me that Beverly had told the principal that Jackson won't be doing a dance assessment because he can't be seen dancing with other people aside from his brothers. Also, at the start of the year, she announced Jackson is taking a gap year between year 11 and 12. You can't do that. There's no such thing as a gap year in high school. She essentially just forced Jackson to drop out. All in all, they definitely could be doing a lot better, seeming they have a lot of academic potential. It's odd to see straight A students doing TikTok for a living after school. I came across some comments in a Reddit thread from someone who was friends with Tyler back in school. This person pretty much said that after high school, Tyler had unadded and unfollowed all of his old high school mates, pretty much cutting all contact with his friends. Someone responded suggesting it wasn't Tyler that did this, it was Beverly. And they agreed. That's what they think, because apparently even on his private account he no longer follows anyone from school and only follows people he had collabed with or TikTokers. I was kind of hesitant with this person and what they were saying. A lot of these people on Reddit who apparently went to school with them and supposedly knew of the boys, having different stories and encounters, they weren't friends with them, they just knew of them, which I can believe that. But this user was saying they were legit friends with one of them, which is crazy. But surprisingly, this person supplied actual evidence they knew Tyler in school. And after giving this evidence, which pretty much confirmed they were friends with one of the boys, they went on to say a lot of wild things. Tyler must be in a really scary situation right now. If he truly does want to leave, he probably thinks he has nowhere to go and will lose everyone who cares about him, almost like he's leaving a cult. If you and your friends get the chance, speak to your parents and ask if they could help house him if he ever did break free. As a parent, I know I would 100% take in my daughter's friends if they were ever in that situation. And your parents will probably be horrified to see what's happening to him. I know he's blocked you all, but if you do have ways to support him, then if any of you do run into him or manage to speak to him on social media, you'll be able to tell him he has a place to live if he ever needs it. Yeah, I agree it must be so scary for all of them, but they are extremely brainwashed sadly, and Bev hasn't taught them any life skills and they haven't seen a single cent from content. Every time I have run into them, their mum has watched it like a hawk and acted like I was a fan. Even at our grad, she wouldn't let anyone take photos for privacy because she saw us all as like fans or something. She's truly an awful mother. He did complain a bit about personal stuff, but then would never talk about what he said again. We had a friend pass in year 11 and he was devastated and was still made to do content, so I don't think Bev gave him time to even grieve, but They're so robot-like now, I don't see them being able to reach out. I believe this 100%, I mean, you have no reason to lie, but Tyler has seemed even more dead inside than usual since he graduated high school, and after he graduated with 5 subject awards, I don't doubt he isn't absolutely dying on the inside from not being able to go to university to be some sort of academic superstar. He seems so smart, and it's truly heart-wrenching to me that he is in this situation. He looks so freaking tired. Yeah, no, I think since school ended, Tyler used to get a break, and he would sleep sometimes during breaks. But they're all naturally smart, and Tyler's wanted to do acting the whole time I knew him, so Bev probably manipulated that he could do acting through this. I mean, Jackson had a good friend group, was doing good in school, and was the school leader when I was there. That's why it's shocking they took him out. What about Snap? Do they not communicate with anyone there either? There was a massive shift in them over Christmas. Their content and everything has gone super odd since Tyler finished school. He is just dragging along in the shadows and has no enthusiasm anymore. Yeah, they had Snap for a couple months, then they were made to delete it near the start of last year. But yeah, since grad last year, they've all pretty much cut off all their friends. Did any teachers have any concerns that you know of? Not really that I know of. Some teachers did, but a lot of them just saw it as a joke. Could have changed since I graduated last year with Tyler, but a lot of them were making bets on who would leave first. What a shame Bev wasn't investigated then. Yeah, even before Aussie Bro Squad, there was a lot of concerning stuff happening in that family. Like what? I can't remember much off the top of my head, but they used to do like military camp things in the school holidays and couldn't grow out their hair, all of this because their dad was in the military. And they couldn't eat until dinner. There's more I just can't really remember right now. That is so sad. As if a young man would delete all of his friends. I'd bet my bottom dollar that Bev deleted all of you. From knowing them, so you feel like they could take care of themselves if they had the finances to do so? Or did Bev baby them to the point they would be incapable of that? I feel really sorry for them. Bev kept them pretty sheltered and didn't let them work or anything. The twins I don't think even have their L's, so it would be pretty hard for them to take care of themselves, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Bev took over their personal accounts too, because he became so inactive last year on it, and when he graduated, he unfollowed and removed everyone, and the account had more of a professional shift. I messaged the account after meeting them at Lakey, and the response was worded from them, but was definitely from Bev. It was way too professional and impersonal, almost like a copy and paste. Yeah, no, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure Bev has control of all their accounts. What parent alienates their children? These boys don't interact with their peers, friends, only each other and Bev. When there's been a few from school, when they were at school, confirming the same behavior there. I'm sorry, that alone is weird in my opinion, and even when I've personally asked questions like general ones, they don't answer, Bev does in the comments. This is not normal behavior by a parent. This is a control issue, and these males don't actually know any difference as they've not been allowed to associate in a friend setting. Are they all really being forced to do this by Beverly? It's definitely a bold claim to say that they are being forced into pursuing this Aussie Bro Squad group. They started when they were teenagers, but they are grown adults now. Surely they can choose if they want to be a part of this Aussie Bro Squad group or not. I do think that they are choosing to do this, but likely because they don't know any better. They have been shut off from the outside world. How are they supposed to get away out of this TikTok group if they don't know how to get a job, if they don't go to uni, if they constantly are stuck with Bev who tells them what to do, if they have no other friends and, for the youngest, haven't even completed their secondary education? And from what was said from Tyler's friend from school, apparently they weren't even allowed jobs and aren't even on their L's. It seems so controlled and weird. Like, what? I think this user on Reddit put it very well. I feel like they do choose the Aussie Bro Squad thing, but they were never really raised in such a way that presented leaving the nest as an actual viable option. You cannot convince me that they had been given the proper choice, they would actually be choosing to be in mummy's band, dancing like that at 7 AM with seemingly no friends and no jobs. I am a 20-year-old Aussie, and I don't know anyone who would choose to do this unless they were raised in some kind of cult. They are never going to be an actual band, and also don't seem to be actually able to sing or dance beyond the gimmicky TikTok way. This isn't a slight on them, I'm just extremely confused about why they're doing this rather than pursuing things they actually enjoy and are talented in. If they actually want to be social media music stars, which I sometimes get the vibe Jackson does, then Bev should have pursued professional training management, interacted with the audience properly, and maybe let them done things like streaming on the side. It seems like Bev doesn't want them in a position where she's not in control of the narrative, so instead we have this worst of both worlds thing going on, which does not seem sustainable in the slightest. Many people have come to theorize that maybe Beverly's using these boys to fulfill some boy band obsession. In addition to this, someone had actually found her selling a bunch of Dance Mom DVDs on Facebook Marketplace. This really backs up the idea that Bev might honestly have some deep issues and obsession around fulfilling her own Dance Mom era. Myself, as well as a whole lot of other people, believe that Beverly is just obsessed with fame. She craves it. She probably wants to live her dreams through her sons, which is why she is so deeply involved and always putting herself into all this. It's deeply unsettling to see how social media can turn into a stage for exploitation, especially when children are involved. What should have been a platform for creativity and fun became a relentless grind for these kids, seemingly orchestrated by a mother who prioritized engagement metrics over their well-being. The non-stop dancing, the constant pressure to perform, and the reduction of their identities to mere content is genuinely dystopian. The long-term psychological toll of such forced exposure is concerning. What happens when they grow up and they realize they were essentially groomed into social media workhorses? The internet never forgets, and that dance monkey label might follow them far beyond their childhood. It's a modern tragedy, a parent exploiting their children under the guise of opportunity, all while sitting comfortably on the sidelines. And for what? Clout? Money? Temporary internet fame? At what cost? What is the end goal of all this? Is the plan to just keep on doing dance videos and live streams? This year they haven't gained anything and they have been losing followers. This Aussie Bro Squad group doesn't seem to be going anywhere. They have been hyping up music releases for a really long while now, but haven't released anything yet for some reason. What is genuinely the long-term plan for all this work? The dropping out of school, the constant dancing, the hundreds of live streams they have probably done, the constant controlling behavior. There is no TikTok creator fund, so I really doubt they're making a lot of money from these videos. What is this working towards? Because it really doesn't seem like there is an actual end goal. As of now, there have been no answers to anything regarding the concerns of these boys. Many people and journalists have reached out for answers but receive absolutely nothing, which is kind of concerning. If you have everyone claiming that you're forcing your sons to do TikTok and live streams, making them dress a certain way, controlling pretty much everything they got going on in their life, you would probably want to speak up quickly and shut down the claims properly. None of the boys themselves have denied these allegations or made any mention of them. The only thing that has been said regarding these claims was one weird remark during a live stream. It of course doesn't come from the brothers themselves, but from Bev.
Mother of the Aussie Bro Squad denies claims they're pressured to perform. Beverly hit back at those allegations in a live stream earlier this year, saying, "Did I make them do this? Does it look like they're being forced, guys?" she asked. "I think it looks like they're having a pretty good time."
I think it's weird that Bev had to speak for them. I know according to everyone and on these socials she is always speaking for them, but with something pretty serious like this, you would want to hear it from the boys themselves. you'll notice that the only comments on these videos are simply just positive ones, usually made by fan pages or just, people, I don't know. That's because any negative comments will quickly disappear. Questioning if these boys are enjoying what they're doing, not only will your comment get deleted, but you will be blocked quite quickly. Many creators on TikTok have been blocked as well, after making videos which talk about these supposed control issues and weirdness going on. I really wish the best for these boys because I do worry for them. I hope we can get some answers soon about whether these boys are okay or not. And if they're not, I really hope they can get out of this situation.